Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. Today, Bitcoin is breaking out once again and is following along with my trading plan that I laid out for you guys yesterday. Bitcoin dominance is rising, and this is causing many of the altcoins to bleed in the process. What happens from here? Are we about to see a much bigger rise inside of Bitcoin, or are we about to see a short-term correction, which eventually is going to take us back down lower? I'm going to get through all of this stuff today, and I'm also going to be dropping you guys a new analysis inside of Tezos, because there's a big update inside of Tezos that seems to be following Chainlink identically, which I believe is going to create a massive rally over the next couple months. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure that you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. And always remember, guys, to join my free Discord. It's the best Discord community out there in crypto. Over 17,000 members full of exciting people congregating, sharing their own thoughts and perspectives on crypto. So make sure you guys join. All you guys got to do is click inside the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link to my Discord server. Now, on the Discord server, I also offer my exclusive content like the video course and signals. So if you're somebody that wants to copy my portfolio, follow along with every trade that I take, or get access to private VIP videos that are only shown to my VIPs, or you'd like to get access to my 20-part video series to teach you guys all of my strategies for profiting, make sure you guys stay all the way to the end of this video, because then I'm going to be taking a couple minutes to explain how you guys can get signed up, the pros of doing so, and what it's going to take to get you guys going today. One final thing, guys, is make sure you guys download my free ebook. Links are provided for you in the description. I spent a lot of time making this for you guys, over 38 pages long, full of exciting information. It's going to teach you guys the ins and outs to trading and investing. There's a bunch of terminology packed in there so you guys can go through, learn about that, and then I've also put a 10-part quiz so you guys can learn all the information in the ebook. You guys can quiz yourself in my 10-part quiz, and then you guys can fully retain all of that information and the knowledge learned. So make sure you guys download that. Links are in the description. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty, guys, so first things first, we're going to dive into some Bitcoin analysis. Now, as you guys can see from my last video, we got a nice buyback inside of Bitcoin, and this is a very encouraging sign for the bullish perspective. At this point, you know, I can't deny the fact that the market structure is very much bullish in every single way. We've retested a prior monthly resistance that we had been here for a significant period of time. We retested this, it's now acting as support, and we did get that buyback. And so from here, you know, I was expecting that we were going to get one more drop. We actually got the opposite of that, and Bitcoin actually rallied up, and so that caused me to rethink my trading plan. So from this point on, I am very much bullish. I think that Bitcoin is bullish, and I think that the altcoins are more or less bullish, but I think that Bitcoin is actually bleeding them a little bit, and we can see that right here. As you guys know, I pinpointed this out yesterday before we got this big green candle, and I said that I was expecting a rally to happen inside of the Bitcoin dominance that was going to bleed the altcoins, and that's actually exactly what we're seeing today. We saw the Bitcoin dominance start to break up, head upwards of this resistance here at about just under 64% dominance, and so this is actually what I was expecting to see, and this is kind of what's playing out. And so when we see this, we can see that Bitcoin is very much on an upward trajectory, and we're about to break out of some of our cycle highs here. Now, this is really right where we're at resistance is about 12K. You know, we're sitting right face to face with the cycle high resistance, and it's looking very strong, like we're going to get a breakout. Now, let's dive into the shorter time frames and take a look at a couple things here before we jump into the Tezos analysis. Because I think that this is a very important level that we really need to break above, but it is possible that we could see a short-term correction pretty much where we're at. You know, right about here, I would think that we could see a correction, but we could also squeeze much higher still. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin squeeze all the way up to about 12.5 before we do experience a correction. But at the same time, with us being at this resistance, I wouldn't be surprised if we fell back down to retest somewhere around 11,200 to 11,300. That's really what I would be watching out for. You know, if we do get a correction, I wouldn't expect it to last very long. We'd stop down here at about 11.3 to 11.2. And then ultimately, I would be expecting one more big impulse. And so what I'm saying here and why this is important is because if we do manage to get a correction, I want you guys to understand that I will be averaging into more positions. You know, I still have a lot of cash waiting on the sidelines that I didn't get filled as I was waiting for one more drop. I did manage to buy some during this initial correction, but I had more cash on the sidelines waiting to buy if we did get lower. The fact is, we're not going any lower, and it looks much more bullish is where we stand right now. And so for that, any correction that we can experience from here, I'm going to be doing my part to buy. Now, I'm not going to FOMO buy into what I view as a bad time to buy. I'm going to wait for the opportunity to present itself because ultimately my bags are packed. I've been dollar cost averaging since mid-2018. And so for that, there's really no reason for me to rush into anything. You know, ultimately my portfolio is packed. I have a really significant position sizing in a number of different coins that I have a lot of high hopes for this cycle. And so for that, I don't need to rush into anything. And you guys shouldn't either. If you're watching this and you missed out buying any of this down here, just understand that we will see a correction, and it's best to wait for a correction rather than try to FOMO buy. Now, I know that it's not necessarily FOMO buying right here. We haven't even broken out of the cycle high, and so you guys are just going to have to do what you guys feel is best for your own needs. But for me personally, I've got my bags packed. I've been dollar cost averaging for a significant period of time, and for that, you know, I'm just going to wait until we get a sizable correction. This really wasn't a big enough correction for me to want to buy into it. Now we're impulsing. We're right at resistance. In my opinion, it makes much more logical sense for me to either buy the breakout of 12K and the retest, or wait until we get a correction here that takes us back down to 11.3 and then buy that. And so overall, I'm just going to be waiting for a correction to buy wherever we get that correction, because right now, with the way it's looking with Bitcoin, you know, this thing could really rip up a lot higher. And so because of that, you know, we might be stuck on the sidelines waiting for a dip opportunity, and it's going to cause a lot of people to FOMO buy. And so just be aware of that. Be aware of your emotions. Understand that that's going to be the thing that happens when you do start to see everybody on Twitter talk about Bitcoin and how it's going up so fast, and then you feel left out. Just don't feel that way. Understand that this is a long-term game, and we will see some corrections in the process. But overall, guys, the way it's looking like Bitcoin's ready to start going parabolic. You know, we didn't manage to get that correction. We retested and held support above this level, and now we're getting a nice buyback ensuing. And so for that, you know, realistically to me, as long as we can clear above 12K, I would say 14K is the logical resistance to be watching out for. And in my opinion, we're going to be seeing breakouts above this level and heading towards that all-time high mark pretty quickly. In fact, I believe that we're going to be at or near around that all-time high mark as we close out the new year, heading into 2022, heading into 2021, where I expect the big majority of this bull run to actually happen. And so I've been watching that for a while. You guys already know. I've pretty much been basing all of my time frames around this point. As you guys know, I label here the new year reversal points inside of the market. And every single new year, we get a significant reversal point. This was the all-time high at the new year. This was the all-time low at the new year. A year from that point takes us to our first higher high on that new macro bull trend. And a year from that point is what I believed where we would go near that all-time high mark. And so we're kind of just in the midway point between year 3 and year 4, about to be hitting year 4 here as we venture into 2021 in the new year. And that's why I'm expecting that Bitcoin is going to have a strong end of the year. We're going to close out the new year strong by heading to that all-time high mark, and it's going to happen pretty quick. And so if we weren't ready beforehand, you know, now's the time to get ready. If you weren't, you know, you don't want to be sitting on the sidelines too long, because then you miss out on all the opportunities. You know, this gave us a perfect buy the dip opportunity right here. Whether you guys took it or not, it doesn't matter. I did my part to buy more Ethereum in this point at 340, and from that, I'm just going to kind of be holding out because my bags are packed. Long term, it's looking really strong, and for that, if we get a correction, I'm going to buy it. If we don't, so what? I'm already packed and ready to go for the bull run. And so this is the update I wanted to give you guys with Bitcoin. Now let's actually dive into some analysis with Tezos. Now, I haven't talked about Tezos for a little while because it really hasn't been doing a whole lot. But overall, I think that this structure looks identical to Chainlink. And I wanted to give you guys some analysis here because I haven't talked about Tezos for a while now. Now, Tezos is showing some weakness with Bitcoin breaking out. I actually expect this to sell off. This to me looks a little bit more like a bull flag, and we're kind of already breaking through that. And so I would expect that this is going to take us for one more leg lower. Now, that's aside the point. What I really wanted to cover today is just how identical Tezos actually looks to Chainlink. You guys are going to start to understand what I mean right here. Now, I've gone through and really kind of showcased exactly why I think these two are so correlated. And really we've seen that up to this point in the bull run. You know, Chainlink has been the outlier of the cycle. Chainlink has performed exceptionally well, and it's really led and outpaced the majority of the cryptocurrencies out there. And what we had following prior to all of this correction was actually the fact that Tezos was following Chainlink, and Tezos was just a little bit behind Chainlink. And so this is one of the big reasons why I've been so bullish on Tezos. Now, I've been buying Tezos for a while, since sub-dollar levels, but now the way it's looking is it's kind of behaved very accordingly to following Chainlink and whatever Chainlink does. And so this has only given me more reasons to be bullish. And so let's go through here and really analyze some things, because I wanted to go over just how correlated these two are. I think that these are two very much charts that are following the same type of trajectory, and we can see that right here. So we go through this accumulation, and then we start the actual cycle. This is kind of what we see right here in Tezos, and then we go through our big impulsive move here. We come up to here, we get rejected, and then we fall back down to retest the accumulation. Same thing happens here inside of Chainlink. We fall back down, retest, and then we get this little dead cat bounce up to here. Same thing happens right here, and then we fall back down to retest support again. You know, Chainlink goes a little bit lower than Tezos did, but it's still the same structure. And then overall, this takes us to one more final attempt to break out higher, and that is stalled, right? It barely breaks out at the high, or Chainlink barely broke out right here. Everybody expected it to keep breaking out and going higher, only this was a failed attempt, and we actually sold off once again. And we can see that the same thing happened here inside of Chainlink, and it happens in Tezos just today. This is actually what's forming in Tezos right now. And I actually expect that this is going to drop for one more leg lower, and we're going to get a retest of about right here. And so when I say that, you know, this is coming pretty much the same type of correlations. The only difference here is the fact that Chainlink sold off much quicker, but that was because of the COVID panic. But overall, guys, this is still pretty much identical market structure to what we're seeing here, and it's a very encouraging sign because we've pretty much been accustomed to Tezos following Chainlink for quite some time now. And we can see that that's still very much the case here. Overall, this is the same exact market structure between the two. There is a little bit difference here, but overall, you can't deny that there's an overlying correlation here that can't be ignored. You know, this is a very important thing to understand because of the fact Chainlink has been doing so well. If there's another cryptocurrency that's following Chainlink, obviously we'll want to do our part by accumulating some. You know, I've been a big buyer of Tezos. I really like the long-term approach that this one has, and I'm actually currently staking mine as well. And so I am earning interest, just under 6% interest by staking my Tezos. I really like this one long term. Anytime I can earn interest and stake a coin as well as just hold it long term as it goes up in value, you know, that's a big win-win for me. And I really like that long-term prospect. And so for that, you know, I've been a big holder. I really do like this one long term. And I think that everybody should have this on their radar because really, guys, what's coming next inside of Tezos, I expect to be a very major impulse. You know, that's really what I've been watching out for, and that's really what I think is going to happen shortly after. You know, whenever we find our low, I think one more leg lower, and then ultimately I think that we pretty much follow the same type of trajectory that Chainlink does before we break out and go into new all-time highs. Because this, guys, is very much the same chart. It's just that Tezos itself is just a little bit behind Chainlink. It's just one big move. And so what I think is whenever Chainlink decides to find its support floor and it starts going up, that's when we're going to start to see Tezos find its support floor and start following pretty much in the footsteps of Chainlink. And so I want to give you guys this update because I found this over the last couple weeks. I've been very optimistic about what we're seeing here inside of Tezos. I've been optimistic of what we're seeing inside of Chainlink as well because I did manage to buy some more at 790. You know, now that we're kind of just waiting to see what Bitcoin does, waiting to see what the rest of the altcoins do because of the dominance Bitcoin holds over the rest of the market, you know, I think the best thing for us to do right now is to pay attention for this move inside of Tezos. Because the thing about it, guys, is Tezos is still in its very early stages of the cycle. It hasn't really done a whole lot. And that's why I think that we're pretty much just at the same point that Chainlink was, where we made that attempt to break out, we sell off, we come down to retest support, and then ultimately we go up once again. And this is going to be the one that really takes us into that new all-time highs, more leg lower, and then we'll kind of do the same thing Chainlink did, where we consolidated and then broke up much higher before we went for a massive impulse. And that's really what I'm going to be watching out for. You know, it doesn't make sense to me that we're just going to come up and tag this short-term one here and then start selling off lower. I think that we're due for a big rise inside of Tezos, and so it's really important to understand that, guys. This is what I'm going to be watching out for long-term with Tezos. I really do like this one. This, to me, just looks like an early cycle that's just accumulating accumulating on this trend, and it looks like we might be due for another retest of that trend line. And so this is what I wanted to give you guys with this update. I wanted to make sure that we're all in the awareness together. Realistically, Bitcoin looks exceptional. It's breaking out. It's showing massive strength in the wake of the rest of the cryptos. We see that the Bitcoin dominance is actually rallying exactly as I thought it was going to, and we're just kind of heading upwards to this resistance. I still think Bitcoin has some more steam left in it before ultimately we top out here. I think that we're going to head upwards of about 63% dominance here, and then ultimately that's going to create the sell-off that we need for the altcoins to rally in its place. And so this is what I'm going to be watching out for with the markets. This is what I'm watching out for with Bitcoin. Bitcoin showing strength. I think that Bitcoin realistically, as long as we can hold and break above 12K, I'd say 14K is going to be the next logistic target that we can have in mind, and I do believe that it's going to hit that point before we see any major rally inside of the altcoins. I think that we're going to need to see some type of pullback inside of Bitcoin, whether that pullback happens at 14K back down, or whether that pullback happens close to where we're at right now. I still think it's going to be about the same, and I think that really Bitcoin needs to sell off just a slight bit before altcoins can get their time in the sun. And so anyways, guys, this is the video I had for you. Wanted to cover some things. Wanted to give you guys some analysis inside of Tezos because I haven't talked about it for a while. I wanted to update you guys with Bitcoin as well. Now quickly, before we wrap things up, I wanted to take a couple minutes to explain how you guys can sign up for the video course and signals for the people who've waited through the video. Now first things first, guys, if you watch my trading plan, you watch my videos, the best thing that you're going to be able to do for yourself when getting into this market is to follow somebody that knows what they're doing. I've been here since 2016. I've managed to ride out the entire last cycle. I've been dollar cost averaging throughout this bear market, and because of that, I've managed to build a very solid portfolio, which by joining the signals, you guys are going to get immediate access to. You guys are going to know my long-term portfolio, you guys are going to know my short-term portfolio, and then I also have any other private signals that I post, whether it's a short-term trade, a margin trade, anything like that. I post those inside the signals as well. On top of that, I've just started doing VIP videos that are aside from what I do on YouTube. So if you guys want extra content, you want to get extra personalized videos, sign up for the signals because that's going to be the thing for you. Not only are you getting access to all the trades that I take, not only are you getting access to my entire portfolio, but you're also getting private VIP videos that I only make inside of the signals. And so that's a really good opportunity for you guys to stay informed, stay aware, and make profitable decisions throughout this cycle. Now, the other option for you guys is definitely the video course, which is 20 educational videos that are teaching you guys all of my strategies for profiting. You guys will know every single one of them, from beginner stuff, advanced and intermediate stuff to advanced stuff. You know, you go through support and resistance, trend lines, you go through market cycles, emotional psychology, and then you're going to go through how to create a trading plan, risk management, and those types of things to help you guys get on the right path of profiting today. So if this is interesting to you guys, I have links provided for you in the description of this video. You guys can purchase them together or you can purchase them separate. If you guys can only pick one, I always recommend going with the signals first, because this is going to give you guys the opportunity to follow along with my trades, follow along with my portfolio, and then take some of those profits if you do want to end up going into the signal, and if you do want to go it, and if you end up wanting to go back into the course, you guys can take some of those profits and buy that. And so ultimately, you're never losing when you're a part of the signals because you're going to be making money consistently, and I really think that everybody should check that out. One final thing, guys, is if you don't want to sign up for any of my VIP stuff, I do have a free ebook that's linked in the description of the video as well. Now, this is going to give you guys kind of the ins and outs to what you guys can expect inside of my group. I go through some basic trading terminology, some investing terminology, and then I have a 10-part quiz in there so you guys can go through, read all of the contents, and then quiz yourself on the knowledge learned to see how well you retained all of that. At the very least, download that free ebook because it's really going to help you guys thoroughly over this next cycle. It's a really good guide that I wish I would have had when I first started, because I went through and spent a ton of time including a lot of information that I really wish I would have had that I know you guys are going to be able to find great value in. So once again, guys, links are provided in the description for both my VIP content or my ebook. Download that stuff, check out my VIP stuff, and with all that being said, guys, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.